Corbin cracked Strowman with the Universal Championship. And I thought, oh boy, he's going to get pinned right now. No. F5, kick out. F5, kick out. F5, kick out. Hell of a way to establish Braun as a babyface, I guess. But that does make McIntyre's trajectory interesting, too, because Drew McIntyre has a feud going with Braun Strowman. And Drew McIntyre, in comparison to Braun Strowman, looks like a babyface because he's dwarfed by him. So, really, that entire Braun Strowman heel run was just to get Roman Reigns cheered. It didn't work necessarily. And when you put all your eggs in one basket, and then when that basket doesn't work out and you put them in another basket, then you go back to the original basket, and it looks like all your baskets have burned. The logical idea was, hey, go buy a new fucking basket. No. What they did was they found one of the baskets that had burned, the skeleton of it, and they painted it up. And they painted it gold. Brock Lesnar's your new Universal Champion. One thing I did like about this, there was no championship advantage in this match. DQ and count out does win you the title, and I love that that played into it because I didn't even think of it. But then Brock hits Braun with that awesome F5 over the top rope. Braun's getting counted out. That's something that I'm glad they played into. They roped into this. F5 back in the ring, gets a pin. I want to know what you think about Brock Lesnar as Universal Champion, especially considering that he may be fighting in the first quarter of 2019 for WWE.
Yeah.
Or for UFC, rather.
UFC, exactly, right. Which that's, Brock was on Raw the other day, and that's the thing that I always look at is like, how does he look? He looks small. He's in the USADA pool now, so he looks small. And he looks really small next to Braun Strowman. That was really weird to me. I've never, whenever you see him in WWE, he never looks small. So this is weird already. I don't know if you've covered this because I joined late, but are we supposed to view this event in a bubble? Or is this like, this is supposed to further storylines?
To me, it's gotta be in totality, because you got the Universal Championship.
Yeah.
On the line, and that is the ultimate prize that you go after. Like,
do we view it maybe like a house show with a title change, where like maybe some of the other matches don't necessarily matter, but then, oh look, there's a title change that matters? Because
I think WWE views it as that, but they don't want us to view it as that.
Right. I mean, I get what you're saying, and it's an interesting analogy with your baskets. It's just, it's so convoluted. I don't know. This is very typical, I guess, of WWE writing, is, to sort of seem like they're leading down one path and then swerve to another path, and now you don't know how this is gonna end up. I did like the match in terms of setting Braun up as a babyface. I thought purely just for the crowd, I thought that was great storytelling. The kickouts from the F5s. Like if I was a little kid, I would have I loved it. I thought that was great. And sometimes whenever I see these choices that they make, specifically putting the belt back on Brock or putting the belt on Brock, sometimes I think this is just WWE really wanting to piss us off.
Well, I mean, yeah, and their idea of heat, I think, is a little bit different than what it is today. You look at the people since Brock has come back that have gotten over on him. I think the only one under 40 is Roman Reigns, and he's not around anymore, unfortunately. And WWE, as we saw on a couple of Raws ago, how everybody immediately was pushed up, and the dominoes fell when Roman Reigns was gone, because they sacrificed a lot of characters and the creative of those characters to get him over. And now, without Roman Reigns on the show, this guy you've been pushing as the top thing, you need the most important prize on the show there. I just think that's incredibly confusing, and you don't know what Brock's going to do. WWE themselves were surprised that Brock was willing to do more dates. WWE was under the impression that Brock was out the door after SummerSlam.
Right.
And then he said, no, I'll do more dates, especially if it's those 7-figure, insane Saudi Arabia dates.
Yeah. I mean, this goes back to, remember, this is a business. And I think a year or two ago, I can't remember, there was all those injuries. Seth was injured and Finn got injured, and they had to just completely redo their whole plan for the year. I think that's what's happening here, is that, the Roman Reigns thing was unexpected. It was having Brock back was unexpected. So they're just kind of, you know, they're figuring it out in real time, and we're seeing it all play out, how this is going to go. And so maybe, I don't know, this is just a thought, like maybe they're like, okay, we have a bunch of different baby faces for you to choose from, or, you know, who's going to rise to the top? It's like, let's give you several different storylines or several different timelines or whatever, and pick which one the crowd likes the most, maybe, you know.
Yeah, and it's all about how they follow this up, because if this leads to something really great and creative that makes me forget that that championship isn't on the show, then yeah. That's fine. Then that's absolutely fine. You've got Braun Strowman. I don't know if he's supposed to be babyface or heel right now. Same with Drew. I don't know where that's going to go. How can I look at Drew as a heel against the Braun Strowman as he's essentially an underdog? There are a lot of question marks, and I'm okay with that. I like question marks. I like not knowing what's going to happen on Raw. But my thing is, man, I don't know, because every time I ask about what's up with Braun's push, I'm always told it's one guy, it's Vince. That's it. I don't know if he thinks that this is going to lead to some sort of Daniel Bryan groundswell, but categorically different characters are these two. It is just such a WWE thing to do, to have Brock Lesnar win the title and then announce that his next match is going to be a non-title match immediately. Yeah. I felt really deflated after that. The top champ spot on Raw, virtually since I've done a podcast, has been such a curiously booked thing.